Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Rodin here with a overview of Minion Masters Conquest. As you can see, I got the seed. I had tried to start this. Apparently, I got a win. Um, I got disconnected like 75% of the way into a match. I didn't think we. Well, apparently, my ally was able to pull off the win, even though I disconnected. I had just played a giant golem, so maybe that helped. I'd like to think I helped. But yeah, I wanted to do a showcase of like what Guild Conquest is and why you would want to do it. As to the why you would want to do it, you get free stuff, basically. Down here you can see the rewards. You want to join a guild that can at least get to like the 30s, level 30 in each cycle. I was able to join this one right before the reset, so I was able to pick up a couple of the last rewards, and now we're starting fresh, so that's a pretty good timing. But whenever you join, just try to get the rewards. Unfortunately, if you join a guild that has already completed a bunch of stuff, you can't just join and then grab a bunch of free stuff you didn't contribute towards, or at least you weren't a member of the guild while that thing was unlocked. But yeah, you want to try to, you don't have to join a guild that can get to like level 50 or 60 or something, but you want to aim for at least like, I think level 34 has another free legendary card, so that is awesome for progressing your collection. Also, all these cards not only maybe give you cards you don't have, but even if you stack glory on cards that you do have and you want to use regularly, that's very helpful as well. So at least aim for like 34-ish. And the way that works is that the top 15 contributors to your guild are counted in your guild score, and you need a certain amount of experience to unlock each level. So you may not, depending on the guild you join, some guilds may not care at all if you contribute. That's probably not going to be the standard. Most, I mean, I've only been like in a couple of guilds. I had stayed in one for a long time, and I just stopped playing the game, and now I joined this one, and I've been in for since I came back. So, but typically, guilds will require some level of contribution from you. Otherwise, they'll just kick you and try to find a more active player. And by active, it doesn't mean that you just like, oh, you log in and you play your regular games and you just pause the contest, or you like lose every conquest. Like they want you to contribute something to the conquest, which is actually pretty easy. You just build a deck that uses some of the conquest cards, or you don't even have to. If you have a high glory deck, you can make a small contribution without just completely ignoring the conquest. But if you can incorporate even a handful of conquest cards into a decent deck and get some wins, you can get a pretty reasonable contribution. So apparently we can also see that my deck is contributing around almost 10,000 points per win. That has to do with your rank and the amount of glory that is in your deck. Also, apparently my deck just got busted. I've been seeing some weird issues since I came back. The client feels a lot more sluggish in general. Also, I've had some cases where like I win a match but I rank down. A little bit confusing. Apparently the card that was removed from my deck was this one. No idea why or how, but they just cut a card from my deck. So anyway, I unfortunately lost the showcase where I built the deck, but the idea is very simple. You try to take a look at what you're offered, and I typically have a deck slot for Conquest, and I reserve that just for my Conquest decks. I typically have a little bit of a backbone, which is usually like the Bridge Buddies, and these Crystal Arcanist and Crystal Archers, and maybe the Daggerfall or a Fireball. So basically a nice useful spell, and some cheap range minions. You could also use like Crossbow Dudes or the Slithering 2-drop that poisons people. Just things that are useful in any particular deck, and you want something that you have glory for. So for me, that's the Crystal Archers. You may have them pretty high at glory as well. They're given out in some events or some of the free DLC that they occasionally give out. So you may have these same cards, or you may have something else that you like using that you have high glory. The point is just to have some cheap ranged minions, or some cheap reliable minions in general. So that's typically the backbone of my deck. And then I'll see which of these cards I can actually incorporate into them. And then for that, we can try to see what kind of synergies are offered to us in the Conquest cards and what we can do with them. So what I saw is that you have something like Red Golem and Demon Warrior. These are typically your late game finishers, your high-end punch to a deck. So Demon Warrior and Red Golem, in my opinion, are a little bit anti-synergistic to each other. but they have, because they basically fill the same role within a deck. The Demon Warrior, you typically want a very cheap deck that you just cycle through a bunch of times to play a bunch of really powerful Demon Warriors at the end. So typically you don't want to take really expensive cards like all of these others that are being offered, but these three would be just fine. You could definitely make a cheap cycle deck with a Demon Warrior with these 4 cards that are offered here. You could maybe include the Incubus as well, that'd be perfectly fine. Maybe even stretch it to a Beam of Doom instead of the Incubus. I definitely wouldn't take both. And I wouldn't take any more than at most one of these other cards. You could try throwing in the Red Golem as well. The thing is, Red Golem synergizes very well with the Blood Imps, so you take a bunch of damage, you put out the Red Golems. But Blood Imps are also very dangerous, so you have to watch out for that. And enemy fireballing Blood Imps is gonna hurt. So what I did was basically I took my backbone, I went ahead and decided that I want to try the Red Golem as opposed to the Demon Warrior. Just for the hell of it. I don't play very much with Blood Imps or Red Golems, so it's kind of just for fun as well. You know, it's a video game, you've got to try and enjoy it too. And I figured Beam of Doom might be a nice inclusion, Incubus, and I might as well throw in the Grasping Thorns, a nice little defensive spell. And I had Zhao Long as my 3-drop flyer, but you could include both him and the Whelp. That's perfectly fine, but I decided that I might as well throw in another Conquest card, so I'll just keep the Whelp and the Grasping Thorns. So this is the deck I'm going with. I think Ravager is a pretty good, I like Ravager in general. I think he's a pretty solid master, and I just like him with his kind of style because he gives you a nice beefy dude to push with your ranged minions. I also like doing it in team battles. One is just kind of the mode I play more of. It's typically my higher rank mode just because I play it the most. And again, the higher your rank, the higher your points, although it does come with the pressure that you have to perform at a higher rank, because if you lose, then you don't get shit. So, also, I tend to build somewhat supportive decks for these things. I'm gonna go ahead and toss out some Blood Imps. It's okay to lose a little bit of HP at the beginning, because again, we're trying to activate our Red Golems. Our opponent seems to be swarming. Unfortunately, both my ally and me had the same thought process at that moment that it was good to throw out some AoE. Unfortunately, we both hit the same stuff. So split the archers there to just take both the bridges, kill his puff. My ally is apparently being pretty aggressive. I can dig that. I have more of a slow strategy. I'm my opponent, I meant my ally. Sometimes your opponent, sometimes your ally rather, is your opponent. Hopefully that guy will walk into this. Really don't want to play the imps into AoE. That's something that's very frustrating when you see your ally do. That Bazooka Scrat is getting quite a bit of value. That's unfortunate. Taking a bit of damage here, so our Golem is gonna be coming soon. Apparently our opponent is splitting there. I did it again. So I'll hold here the Daggerfall. I'm expecting my opponent to play some trash to answer this. There's the trash, there's my answer. That's a pretty good Daggerfall. That's a nice Cataclysm from our actual opponents, but we still have some beefy units. They took a ton of damage. I could also do this. Nice. That was a bunch of damage to the face. We almost have the Red Golem active. I'm actually not sure. I think my archers beat the crossbow dudes there. Incubus is a pretty good answer to flooding trash. I should probably have split those guys, but oh well. Bit late now. Oof, yeah, that's unfortunate, but that does activate my golem. I should have tried to play this earlier to protect my ally's tower. Just didn't notice it, frankly. But apparently the tower was good enough, and that gets us through. So no golem, but pretty good play from my ally, not my opponent. He was not my opponent this time. Yeah, okay, whatever, I'll claim all this stuff later. But yeah, deck seems to be functioning properly. If the if I saw that the imps and the golem weren't like contributing, you can just kind of switch gears and maybe go for the demon warrior instead. Although at that point I would probably cut out the beam of doom. I think it's just too expensive for a demon warrior type of deck. My opponents are taking the bridge here, so I don't want to just throw my crystal archers away. I'll back my ally up here, and I'll probably just split some of these dudes. Ah, shit. I was hoping he would hit the tower. That's pretty unfortunate. Although that does work out fine. I didn't take as much damage as I expected, and they actually killed him. I have like no experience with... Hopefully the shield runs out and it doesn't die, unfortunately. I would like to back up my opponent's play there, but I mean my allies' play, but unfortunately I just can't. Oh, thankfully that warrior did die right before it smacked my arcanist. Unfortunately the golem was going the other way. Oh, nice. Thank you, dear ally. Yeah, this guy's pretty good. He's backing up my plays properly. He gave me a beefy frontliner for my range guy and a range guy for my beefy frontliner. It looks like a decent-ish Daggerfall there. Clear the way for our minions to hit the face. Conserving a bit of mana. The mana surge is a consideration, but also my opponents are just not doing very much, so... I think I'll just cycle the bridge buddies. Okay, there we go. Although if our enemies can't answer the Harbinger, smacking them in the face. Yep, they're just gonna die. They were very late with that tower. They also had like one of the little scooter dudes, but that's not gonna answer a Harbinger very quickly. Harbinger has like 270 HP, so yep, if you just leave it smack in your face, you will die. The Colossus was a questionable play there. Somebody blew all their mana to play a Colossus when they were getting smashed in the face by a Harbinger in the air. That is questionable. So by the time they got enough mana to play the statue, they just died. So yeah. Try to pay attention to what your enemies are doing, what your allies are doing, and try to back them up accordingly. My ally and I had much better synergy, trying to back each other up on our pushes, and just reacting better to what our opponent was doing, and our opponents just kind of ignored what we were doing. They had a game plan that they were going to play Colossus, and they just didn't react to a Harbinger smashing them in the face. Kind of weird, but I don't mind taking early bridges. You often fail because your opponent does something like that, but whatever, them's the breaks. The web answers these things pretty well, but unfortunately it doesn't take the bridge. That's unnecessary. I'm glad he canceled it. Just play a minion and take the bridge, dude. Like, Jesus Christ. This is not how I want to be playing my Arcanist, but it's what I'm forced to do. So unfortunately our ally here seems to have a very specific plan of his own, and he just wants to play supportive units. Unfortunately, my frontliners are still quite a bit away. So this is a bad play, frankly. Like, I understand you might want to cycle it, but like, you can look at my hand. You can see your ally's hand. I'm not going to play the red golem. I need to get my health down. Don't just throw this out there blindly and hope I play into it. Like, if you had played that, good fucking job, dumbass. Sorry, a little bit of salt. So apparently in this particular match, my ally is indeed my opponent. Was hoping to get a little bit more casualties from that play, but unfortunately I guess I mistimed it. But you want to try to back up at what your ally is doing, not just randomly throw out like a healer. Like if he had just waited for a little bit longer until my push came out with Brutus, that healer would have done so much more good. But he just kind of threw that out there for the lulz, and coincidentally it did absolutely nothing. I actually wouldn't mind taking a bit of damage here. That was a bad play from me. The dagger fall was entirely unnecessary. So now his healer would actually get some value. For some reason he's not playing it. Can't say I understand what that reason is. Thank you. Good healer. Play it, dude. It's at half HP. What are you doing? Oh my god. He let it get to the bridge, so it got swapped. Okay. Alright, calm. But this is one of those matches where your ally is a little bit of your opponent. It happens, unfortunately. That's a good fireball. Healing fireball, that is. I'll grab the bridges here. Their thing is going to die, but that's fine. Bridges are very important. So here I want to answer that thingamabob with my dragon whelp. Unfortunately, he has a dragon whelp of his own, but this will... Also, if you place the slow there, your masters can get involved in the action as the cleaver slowly approaches. That was a very slow fireball on my end. It's not going to do very much of anything. I don't want to play this into the cleaver unless he's already hitting my tower. That's an unfortunate placement for Stixie. So there, thankfully my opponent swapped my dudes. You can use the archers to like take some heat from the cleaver, but I typically don't mind taking a little bit of damage. Also, I'm playing red golem, so I kind of need to take damage. That was unfortunate. The chain lightning went all the way across. So I'm going to play the Arcanist over here just to kill some crowds. Unfortunately, it does get daggerfall, but that's a decent Colossus from my ally. I should have played that much earlier, wasn't paying attention. And now he can hopefully get the healer down. Thankfully, he doesn't wait for it to get to the bridges this time. I think I will just do this to grab the bridge. Almost didn't happen, but unfortunately that is a pretty good answer, but I can just put this. I think I will back up his push for just another giant dude. That will not kill the archer. That guy hitting our tower is perfectly fine. That's a really bad play. You don't want to play, like, the defensive copter is perfect at answering, like, trash. That is literally what it does. No, stop. Don't fucking play that shit. Stop. Oh my god. So, a little bit of help to our enemies from our third enemy in this round, but thankfully in the end we got shit done. So yeah, team mode has its issues. Honestly, 95% of the time you'll have an ally that is, okay, maybe not 95%, maybe like 85% of the time, you'll have at least a competent ally, if not a good one. But if you have a competent ally against two sort of competent enemies, and you belong in a higher rank, you should be climbing. So again, that was a bad play. Like, I had already seen my allies holding the bridges. Oof, that's also a questionable play, but again, don't mind taking a little bit of damage. Thankfully, only two went that way, so took a bit of damage. Apparently, we're gonna get an early golem, very early golem. All right, so his Harbinger was able to capture the bridge there, so I didn't need to take it, but I'll back it up anyway. At this point, I was going to consider the golem, but floating mana there was maybe a little bit of a mistake. I don't think I floated too much. I'll just back up the dude with the Incubus. That's interesting play, given that, oh shit, I should have had a Beam of Doom there would be very, very nice. Yeah, some misplays on my part. That's a good reaction from my ally. It's a little bit late, but I'll take, that was the blame. Fat fingered a little bit there. I'll take the blame there. I was definitely not paying attention and doing what I was supposed to do. It would have been nice if you pulled it onto my thing, but okay. Beam of Doom there might have been better. I'm trying to set up my golem, but it's still pretty far away. Actually, I think I will do that. Oh, actually that was entirely unnecessary. I was going to kill the statue, but I didn't realize that it was just trash. That was pretty bad for me. I'm a little bit distracted from, trying to talk and play at the same time. But yeah, that was not a good play for me. I'll back up my archers here with an incubus. He's very good at clearing trash, and just I need the Scratan to attack something so that he doesn't actually just gain immunity to the range. That's a pretty good Beam of Doom from our enemies. My golem is still not active. I don't want to play it. Like 9 cost for a blue golem is not something I'm interested in. So honestly, I'm just going to play some more dudes. Thankfully they didn't get fireballed. I don't want to take too much damage. That was a mediocre... Interesting. That was a mediocre... whatever I just did. Daggerfall. Sorry, spacing out a little bit. It's not that easy to talk and play at the same time. Golem's still not active, still don't want to play him, so I'll do this. Man, our opponents are dying, our health is still fine, so this is fine. And like not in the ironic meme sense of Incubus is gonna get some work done there. Beam of Doom would have been amazing if I could have played it there, but I could just Beam of Doom the face. GG. Again, Harbinger smashing face, no reply, very late reply with that tower. Harbinger wins games. That's definitely a card you can run. He definitely wins games. Personally, I prefer a Harbinger to something like a Colossus, because you'll often find people who just don't respond to a Harbinger, smash him in the face. Granted, it can be difficult to respond to Harbinger, especially if your opponent is backing them up with spells, as they should be, like Daggerfall and Beam of Doom. Or I would prefer the Fireball, frankly. I don't normally run Beam of Doom because I think it's just too expensive. You can definitely get its money's worth for the expense in certain plays, but I think Fireball is just more consistently good, and it's a lot easier to save up 4 mana than to save up 7. Alright, so you can also, I should be looking at my allies' decks to try to figure out what their game plan is, and frankly I like their game plan quite a bit, because apparently their game plan is playing big dudes that I can back up with my ranged minions, which I don't quite have yet, but they're coming. They're a-coming. My ally is floating mana there. Dude, you gotta play something. My hitting Fireball is pretty good. Please stop playing things. Why are, dude, Beam of Doom, come on. Alright, I'll take the bridges here. That was, it's pretty normal that when you just start a match, oh, that was a really unfortunate split. Just one dude came to take the bridge. Answer the multitude of dudes with the world. That's a very good defensive copter. So yeah, it's pretty common that when you just start a match, you and your ally are not exactly on the same page. You might try to do the exact same moves. That's a questionable. I should have realized that they were gonna path to them anyway. Nice. That's a pretty annoying healer. Also, our opponents are holding both bridges. That is really, really bad. I don't have a good way to take it, unfortunately. That was interesting. Oh, that was their lightning bolt. Okay, okay. Cool. Yeah, so the biggest problem from all of this is that our opponents have been holding the bridges forever. Also, I think it's our ally has played a couple spells into the Shenlong. Xiaolong, sorry. So that's unfortunate. Good news is we're gonna have golems soon. Bad news is we're gonna have a golem soon because we are dying. I don't want to actually play the golem, but I think I have to at this point. It's not exactly ideal. I'm gonna back up my allies push. I really didn't want to play a 9-mana blue golem, but that's the break sometimes. Things are not... I'll just play this here. Nice. I just didn't realize that was coming also. Glad I didn't play that. That would have been very, very painful indeed. Probably should have played... Oh, actually I killed this. Sorry, that was bad. That was 100% my fault. I just killed this. Also, I'm fat fingering. And also there's an enemy Xiaolong that we're not really answering. Oh! I have a handful of spells against the Xiaolong. That is unfortunate. I can't really answer this, bro. So I hope you can. Nope. Unfortunate. I didn't play well there. I'll take the blame for that one. Definitely could have done some better stuff, and I pretty much killed us with the Blood Imps. That's the issue with Blood Imps. If you're low HP, they will literally just kill you. So it becomes not only a dead card in your hand, but like a dead card that if you for some reason forget about and play, it will literally kill you. So be careful with that. And yeah, I don't play very often with Blood Imps. This is not usually a style that I go for. There's a lot of cards that I usually don't play in this deck, like Blood Imps, the Red Golem, and the Beam of Doom. So if you see me playing really questionably with those, I'll blame that. I'm gonna grab the bridges here. My allies are apparently waiting for me to do something, but holding one of the bridges, I don't want to play the imps into him because he does AoE. That's a pretty nice answer. That's also... You can also just like play the imps. Unfortunate. If I had played it a little bit faster, I could have saved this dude. But yeah, you can play the imps once they're hitting your tower, and unfortunate. Dragons just kill each other in the air. Oh. Incubus there to answer his ranged minions. Okay, didn't get full value out of his tower. A little bit late there on the... So now that he's playing, I'll play the dude, and hopefully he'll... Oh jeez, that's an issue. Yeah, we were both too late in... So that's my allies spell. I do wish it was a little bit easier to tell. Really want to be careful with this guy. Oof, because of that reason. But if I had played my Blood Imps, he probably would have just killed me. Our ally is giving up. It's probable we'll lose, but not guaranteed. Like, play the match until it's over. Obviously now I do have to make a mental note to stop playing Blood Imps. Come on, get it done. There. Okay. All right, now we got a decent push going. Our ally is already waiting to back that up. Unfortunately, that does kill the... Not bad. That doesn't actually take the bridge. Maybe unnecessary daggerfall, but I need this push to do work. Ooh, that was lucky. That was so lucky. I cannot play the imps. Need to remember that. Imps will kill me. That's a decent, nice. Haha. And that, my friends, is why you don't give up until it's over. Especially if one of you is running red golems, getting down on HP is not the end of the world. It is actually kind of your plan. But yeah, just remember not to play the blood imps when you're low on HP. Oh, okay. Well, apparently with Conquest is done. So yeah, that was a pretty smooth Conquest. They're not all gonna go so smoothly, that's for sure. I've definitely had my rough patches where you just lose pretty early. I try to avoid getting just like 0-3, but I mean, once upon a time, once upon a blue moon, I wanted to say, it will happen. So yeah, you want to be in a guild that is contributing. So you can see here is the cutoff. Now we do have more than 15 people who, or at least we have 15 people who have contributed. And that's typically what you do want to see. You want to see at least 15 people contributing. 4K is not much, but you do what you can. I'm a little bit more disappointed with this level 135 guy only doing 15, but the thing is, he may have just done like 2 games, 1 or 2 games. He may not be done yet. That's also something you have to take into account. And don't be like overly concerned with what your allies are doing. Just try to do the best that you can and hope that the rest of your guild will come through. Again, you just need the top 15 contributors. Maybe these scores will be replaced by the end. This literally just started like either today or yesterday, this particular guild cycle. So yeah, hopefully you found that useful. I tried to talk about the different ideas on how do you make your deck. I definitely like the idea of having just one of your deck slots be a Conquest slot, and you just build a particular deck around it. Try to build a deck that makes sense. Realize the possible synergy that you have in your Conquest card offerings, or like the cards that are buffed for each Conquest. If you can use, like if you have a 400 glory card that is 10 times better than a Conquest card, then you should probably use that instead. But if you can like replace one of your usual cards with a Conquest card, maybe it's not exactly the same, maybe it's not quite as good, but it's close, you will probably get more glory. Although also try to use your season stars appropriately to try to maximize your glory. So I have a deck with 2,500 base glory and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Conquest cards. So that's typically what I try to aim for. That seems like a pretty good bonus. Also, you need to make sure that you can win with your deck. Like if you just click all these cards and you go 0-3, you're not going to do anything. So you need to be sure that you can try to win. But yeah, try to recognize the synergies. Something like Blood Imp with Red Golem. You could have gone for sure with the Gorak Brutes and the Grasping Thorns and something like Daggerfall. You can also use, there's a bunch of those decent 3 mana spells. Another one that I typically use is the Scrat Enraged Minion one. So that's kind of like, it's a spell, but really you're playing a minion. So that's something you can do with that. Dragon Pack is just a generally decent card. Incubus is a very solid card. And yeah, Dragon Whelp is just solid in general. Beam of Doom it's solid. It's typically not what I go for. I prefer Fireball personally just because it's cheaper. It is less damage, but it's cheaper. So, but yeah, I would typically run this with a Fireball instead. And that's something that you can try to do. Like if you feel this deck is not going to work for you, then it is better to just cut one of the Conquest cards, say, okay, I think a Fireball would just make this deck much better. So I'll just run that instead. I'll get a little bit less glory, but if you can get your 6 wins with a little bit less glory, that's still much better than going like 0-3 with a 10 glory card deck. But yeah, hopefully you found this useful, and may have a good evening.